What's up, guys? Today we are here with you with the brand new FHN sports show called
FHN Gameday.
We basically cover a bunch of sports-related news and statistics.
In the FHN and professional sports world.
That's awesome. Yeah, so to kick off our show, let's start talking about FHN football.
Alright, why not? So our FHN football team finished the season with a record of 2-8, with our highest scorer Ian Kelly with 62 points overall, 10 touchdowns.
And yeah, that's impressive.
Pretty impressive
And then,
stat line.
Yeah, another star on that team was David Bigger, who had 28 points for the season. And,
As a kicker.
Yeah, as a kicker.
And he's a freshman.
Yes.
He's a freshman as well.
And yeah, he was the STL Today's High School Athlete of the Week, I believe, after his performance against Sumalt South, where he scored, I think it was 15 points. He had 3 field goals and 3 extra point kicks.
Crazy.
I mean, impressive player for
Seriously.
sure. Yeah, so I mean, so 2-8, you know.
Yeah,
It was a hard season.
And unfortunately, we lost in the playoffs first round to South, a team we previously beat early in the season.
Pretty tough.
Yeah, yep. It was just tough. Yeah, they had a lot of games where they were close and almost came back, and then weren't quite able to pull it off.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sam, you want to talk to us about some FHN volleyball now?
Yeah, let's do it. Volleyball finished the season 7-17-1. They lost the first round of districts to FHC, a team that was runner-up in sectionals, and a big thing to take away is that they are losing 7 seniors, so they're going to have to call up a lot of JV players.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I guess something good, though, is we saw a lot of young talent on the court this year.
We did.
Lots of it.
Yeah.
Lots of sophomores,
It was good to see.
juniors.
It was good to see because they performed pretty well for.
Yeah, I mean,
how young
obviously,
they
if they're starting varsity, they got to be
Seriously, man.
pretty up there. Yeah. So, Parker, our soccer player, you want to tell us about soccer season?
Gladly, man. So the varsity boys soccer team finished off the season 6-7-1, and were unfortunately knocked out of districts by SLU in a tough game that ended 5-0. That was pretty rough to watch. I got to see it on the bench.
Mhm.
I didn't get any playing time. Thank you for asking. And it was pretty rough to watch. But as for individual statistics, Jack Stover and Austin Bitter are 2 goalies. They played great. 7 combined shutouts, 42 goals allowed in the season. And then our leading goal scorer and leading playmaker with 13 goals and 9 assists in 14 games was Ryan Dittmer.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and he's a senior, one of the seniors leaving this year. Half the team was seniors this year, so they're going to be calling up a lot of guys from the
Even
JV.
you?
Hopefully.
There we go.
So.
Yeah, something tough about that district game, playing SLU, they are the #1 team in the state.
And number 5 in the nation.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I mean,
So,
That's
wow.
crazy.
Yeah,
That's pretty rough.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, that's just some straight up tough competition. You can't do much else about
It
that,
is.
you know?
Yeah.
So softball season. The girls softball team was pretty solid this year. They were 16-11, and something you saw a lot of from the softball team this year was a lot of young talent. Riley Albers and Kaylee Lones were both great players. Received all district and all conference honors.
Massive flex.
Oh yeah, I mean both were batting over 300, and Albers behind the plate was just super great. I mean she was just throwing out runners left and right, and the softball team, they were pretty streaky. They won 8 out of 9 from September 16th to October 1st. But then towards the end of the season, unfortunately, they started playing those really tough teams, including 2 games against the team that won state this year, Washington. And then, to top off that Washington matchup, they played Central again, and then they played Central in the second round of playoffs. And Central went on to be the runner-up. So they played 4 games late in this stretch against the 2 teams that went to the state championship. So, that's a tough luck for them there.
That only makes you better, though. So
Right, that is true.
They'll definitely be ready next year.
Way to put it.
I mean, they competed with Central. They were winning for most of the game and then just let it slip at the end. But I mean, to be able to see that they can compete with such a solid team like that, like Central, that's something to be proud of about and optimistic
flex.
in the future. Oh yeah. And so yeah, I mean, all in all, they had a pretty solid season. It was just that tough competition in the end stretch that made it hard on them.
Yep.
So yeah, that's all for our FHN sports coverage. So let's move on to professional sports. So NFL, there's a couple of big storylines going out this week. Christian McCaffrey's back, but most of all, Aaron Rodgers claimed he was immunized, but then hasn't been able to play.
It was a little weird seeing that headline at first. I was kind of like, what?
Yeah.
Like, no.
What's the
I
difference?
didn't understand it at all.
Yeah, I mean vaccination versus immunization. Like,
Mhm.
what's going on here? And yeah, I mean he's been pretty solid this season, all except for that first game. But
Yeah.
I mean, having him out, the Packers were hurting with Jordan Love.
Mhm.
Not quite as experienced, obviously, as
Yeah.
Rodgers, who's been in the league for years and years. But
Mhm.
You know,
McCaffrey was doing pretty good too.
yeah, he was. Yep.
I drafted him in my fantasy team.
How's he doing?
Well, he's not on my team anymore.
Oh.
I dropped him when
This
he was
man made a
injured.
mistake.
I dropped him when he was injured and forgot to pick him back up, and so someone else in my league did, and I regret it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a huge. I was tempted to trade him, but dropping him, I couldn't do that, man.
Okay.
A guy who's scoring 20 points a week, like why?
Yeah, don't rub salt
Why?
in the wound, Kyle.
I just don't understand. But it just doesn't make sense. But yeah, so St. Louis Blues, they had a subpar season last year, but you know, this year it looks like they're starting off the season well. 7-1, leading the Central Division of the Western Conference. And you know, Jordan Bennington in the net is just solid as normal. I mean, he's
Unstoppable.
yeah, allowed the third fewest goals all season of anyone in the NHL. So
My favorite goal.
yeah, I mean, when you don't score,
really knows.
you can't win. So I mean, the Blues are executing that side well. So NBA, can we get some coverage on that?
NBA, a few of the hottest teams out right now are probably the Brooklyn Nets, Golden State Warriors, and the irrelevant LA Lakers. Yeah,
Yeah.
Irrelevant? Why do you say irrelevant?
What's
they're-
the claims behind
they're
this?
5-5 with like over 5 All-Stars, and they're doing terrible.
That's
But,
true.
Yeah, a good point.
I mean, LeBron
is
is still
injured.
out. Yeah, he's still out.
Yeah, I feel like LeBron, he's just a spark. You know, you have all those all-stars on the team, but LeBron is literally like one of the top
They need a
top
leader.
3 of all time, I'd say.
I'd
in my
basically
opinion.
call him the Tom Brady of the NBA.
Yeah, I mean, he's
agree with
So LeBron or Jordan.
he's this generation's Michael Jordan, I think.
Yeah.
And you know, missing a guy like that, he's literally the entire offense. Even with all those star players, LeBron is the main guy for that.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, just missing him is just huge, I think.
And of course, my favorite team, Golden State Warriors, #1 in the Western Conference. Curry putting up spectacular points,
And
and
He did drop 98 fantasy points.
98
which
fantasy
was-
points, and I picked him up, of course.
I
and
didn't. Going against him.
of course you didn't, though. I mean, I think we're starting to
Yeah.
see a common trend here. Parker's just not quite on top of things
It's pretty
in
rough.
fantasy
I'm
leagues.
5-4 in football, and I am 2-1 in basketball.
I'm 3-0
Both winning records.
because of my guy.
8-1
Whatever.
in football. I'm just saying.
Wow,
The
that's
only
pretty
game I
okay.
lost was the game that Aaron Rodgers scored 0.8 points in. So,
0.8.
yeah, 0.8. He was really solid there for a quarterback. But, yeah, I don't think your fantasy picks are doing quite as hot.
Yeah, not quite.
Um,
Devin, since you're one of the only people who know about boxing, what do you have to tell our viewers about boxing?
yeah, I'm
Oh, yeah.
interested.
For you boxing fans, last weekend, Saturday, we had one of the biggest fights, pay-per-view fights of the year. Caleb Plant versus Canelo Alvarez. Caleb looked really strong at the beginning, held his own, but as the rounds progressed, Canelo took away his jab, and in the 11th round, he went down with the uppercut, and down again, and he went down for good. And Canelo's now the undisputed 168-pounder.
That's impressive for sure, yeah. So, yeah, Sam, we just got done with the World Series about a week ago. Can you just kind of provide some insight for us on that and just some analysis, please?
Yeah, for sure. So, just started off, the Atlanta Braves won the series 4-2.
Mhm.
I think it was kind of even. I feel like Atlanta still had the edge on Houston,
Mm-hmm.
but the games were definitely good games that
Yeah.
were in the World Series.
Yeah, that edge was something that would have been like unexpected from the regular season, considering the Braves had like the fewest wins of anyone in the playoffs, I believe. And I mean, to be able to take down a team like the Astros, the Braves just had everything working for them.
Yep.
Yeah, I think the Braves just kind of started picking it up at the end of the regular season and just carried that energy to the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I
And
love
I
it.
mean, America wins, Astros lose, man.
Yeah.
I love to see
it.
underdogs, man.
Gotta love it.
And I mean, the fact that the Braves did that without Acuna Jr., their
That
star,
was also pretty impressive.
their star, they won the World Series without this. I don't think there are many teams that can do that.
Well, let's talk about their World Series star, Jorge Soler.
Man, as a Cubs fan, that one hurts. You know, Soler was on the Cubs. He was decent. Man, it was tough to watch. I was happy for him, I guess, but you know,
So are we happy
seeing
for
them
the
in that
Rams?
blue.
Are we happy for the Rams? It's like the LA Rams going on.
No, I still can't get over them. What they said about
Yeah.
St. Louis.
No.
I mean,
Every time I watch some kind of like YouTube compilation of like biggest hits or something,
Mhm.
I always see STL and I'm like, that's funny. We don't have a football team.
Yep. And you know, Stafford has been amazing this year. I think
Yeah.
he's second in the league for fantasy points, and I mean he's just been a really solid player. And of course, Rams defense is always
Yeah.
stellar.
While we're on
So-
the topic of football, let's go ahead and move on to college football.
All right, yeah. let's
So, new AP top 25 poll came out. We have Georgia, Alabama, Oregon, and then my Ohio State Buckeyes.
Hmm.
Pretty happy. The only reason Oregon is ahead of Ohio State right now is because they actually beat them in the beginning of the season. Very
Okay.
close game.
Hmm.
I think if they had a rematch right now, Ohio State would win. Just saying.
Hmm.
But
I feel like there's some bias here.
yeah, just
Um,
just a tiny bit.
We're all against
Yeah.
it, but keep going.
So,
Yeah.
as for the Georgia Bulldogs, they are currently undefeated after taking an absolute blowout win against our Mizzou Tigers.
Oh my gosh, dude, that one was so hard to watch.
Yeah, it
Two
was.
field goals were the only times we scored in here, and you know it's a tough thing to watch.
It was
but
really tough, man. Maybe basketball will be our season.
Yeah, well, you know, I thought that Mizzou was gonna be set, you know, because they got a brand new coach. Their program seems to be on the come up. But you know, speaking of Mizzou football, the biggest athlete, number 1 wide receiver in the nation out of East St. Louis High School, just committed to go to Mizzou to play for football.
Yeah.
It won't do
Yeah.
anything. It won't do anything.
You really think not?
It won't do anything.
I mean, I think it'll make the team better, but I don't think they will be, you know, a team that'll be ranked.
I
Not
think they're
even
far
close.
from that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Like,
say give him a couple of years.
yeah, I think that there just needs to be time for the division to or for their team to just kind of evolve and grow.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, Mizzou's also 4-5 this season, so they deserve to be unranked. And then,
Yeah.
so this week we had a lot of upsets also. So North Carolina, unranked team, taking the win over number 9 Wake Forest. That's a huge dub.
Yeah.
Illinois also unranked, taking out Minnesota.
And can I take a moment to talk about Illinois? They lose to crap teams
Yeah,
like Rutgers and
that's
these-
kind of like all
these
underdog teams, especially Purdue.
Oh yeah.
Purdue
Uh-huh.
beats every single AP top 10 team,
Oh yeah.
and then they just can't beat anyone else.
Well, and that's like Illinois beat Penn State at Penn State Stadium.
Yeah.
Like Illinois is not good at all, and the fact that they were able to pull off that win in not just regular time, but 9 overtimes.
Seriously.
This game went to
9 overtime.
9
Nine
overtimes.
I need to
That's
watch
gotta
that
be a
game.
record or
It's
something.
insane. It is a record. No college game has ever gone that long, and I mean to be able to pull it off, they had some crazy structure. I still don't understand fully how that overtime period worked, but I mean
Yeah. As for the rest of the
they
underdogs,
pulled it off. Yeah.
TCU beat number 12 Baylor.
Mhm.
Purdue crushed number 3 Michigan State.
Yeah.
And Arkansas beat 17 Mississippi State, and Tennessee beat 18 Kentucky.
Oh, and that Michigan State game was really surprising too, considering they just came off a huge win versus Michigan.
Yeah, seriously.
It's just football's such a weird sport. So.
And Ohio State might hand them another loss this season because I'm pretty sure we play them next.
Yeah, I don't know, man. We'll see about it. We'll see
Oh,
about
it'll
it.
happen. It'll
But
happen.
yeah, thank you guys for joining our show. We enjoyed being able to talk about sports, and we hope you learned some stuff going on here at school and out in the professional sports world. So I'm Kyle,
I'm Parker.
I'm Sam.
I'm Devin.
and that's our show. Thanks for joining.
Ash.
Peace.